Right, so here we are live, and I've got another unboxing video for you, and this is DC Multiverse Jay Garrick, the Flash, the Golden Age Flash unboxing. You can see on the side here it says the Flash Jay Garrick, the Flash Age. So the name's so nice you had to say it twice. Jay Garrick, Jay Garrick. So good friends with Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. There's a joke that people of a certain age will get. If I have any younger viewers, they might be scratching their heads right now. So, uh, but yeah, so this is the Golden Age Flash from Mcfarlane Toys. It's nice to see like a more old school character because they tend to skew towards the modern. But upon closer look, you're going to realize this is actually like a modern design of Jay Garrick, even. So can't escape the modern stuff from Mcfarlane. But just give me like a 1939 Batman with little purple gloves and an empty holster, since you can't really give him a gun, and I'll be happy. I'll never understand why DC characters can't have guns from McFarlane Toys when like they had guns the whole time they were with Mattel. So it doesn't make any sense. So got a really nice piece of artwork on the back. I really like that. It has kind of an Alex Ross feel, but I'm pretty sure that's not Alex Ross. That's a different artist. So his his face looks a little bit like Eric Bana, I think. He probably wouldn't be a bad guy to play Jay Garrick in a live action movie. Other than that, it's pretty much the standard McFarlane box that's not really worth talking about all that much. We've seen it a million times, and it's not that interesting on its own. So, one thing I will note is that, like the last couple of figures that I've bought from McFarlane, it does not have any cross-sell artwork on the back of other figures. So I guess that's just going to be a thing going forward, where we're just not going to have any cross sell on the back, since I haven't seen any in a really long time. Let's go ahead and get it open. And when we get out of the package, we can see that it's the same type of insert in here that we're used to having with the covers. I went over that on my video where I talked about the Riddler. I think it was the one where I went over some of the covers on here. So I'll do that occasionally as time goes on, and go back and look at some of the covers and point out what covers are on here. But right now, let's go ahead and get the trading card and the stand out. And unfortunately, they are on two separate bubbles, which is always annoying to me because then I have extra work to do. Just keep them on the same bubble. You're making extra work for yourself by gluing this on here. You know, you could probably be saving like an extra 0.05 cents on every 100 figures you make. If you just made this like one solid piece, that would probably save you some money. So you should probably do that. And then you can pass that savings on to the consumer. And then every time I buy an action figure, it'll cost me like a fraction of a penny less. And I will be appreciative. So I tried to put this on this stack of boxes that I have over here, and it fell over. So that tells me it's probably time to throw out some of these boxes. Getting kind of cluttered around here. So it does have a few accessories. We're going to take those out. And I thought I'd be able to pull that right out, but no, I just wanted to catch on every single hanging lightning bolt on there. So these are like little lightning bolt things that you can put on his wrists and ankles and forearms and shoulders and thighs, or whatever you want to, I guess. I've seen them put all kinds of places on this figure, so that should be fun to play around with. We'll play around with those a little later. And this is the one that's the smoothest, came out the easiest. But you can see it's not like proper lightning bolts, like the ones that Wally West came with, but rather these kind of clumped up lightning bolts with speed lines in between them, which I think is good because it does seem a little bit more like how they drew Golden Age Flash, like in the 1940s, in the actual Golden Age. Oh, let me go ahead and get these hands out too, So this is one way that you can tell this is like the post rebirth Jay Garrick right away. Is the original Jay Garrick had bare hands, much like how Superman had bare hands, but this one has these little fingerless gloves, more akin to what Supergirl wears, that are attached to sleeves, like a Melissa Benoist. I don't know if I'm saying that name right, or is it like a French thing, like Benoist or something? I don't know. I just think she's cute as hell. So that's the main reason I watched that show. I know a lot of people complained about how it, like, went off the rails, like when it moved to the CW, and you know kept going downhill ever since. But I always enjoyed watching it because I always enjoyed watching her, so I didn't really care. There's some other actors I like on that show too. So there. Oh, we got one more. Put my X-Acto knife away too soon. But we got this one here. Not even quite around the waist, more like up around like his the lower part of his rib cage almost. It kind of goes diagonal. Kind of went diagonal like this way. So now we should be able to get Jay out of the package fairly easily, and we can discuss the action figure in a little bit. But I'll let you get a close look at him first. Just tide you over because we are going to talk about his accessories first, like I usually do, and then we'll discuss this figure and what I like about him, what I don't like about him, and most of the stuff I like about him is going to be stuff that's like, oh, this looks like the Jay Garrick I remember, and most of the stuff I don't like about him is going to be like, this is new and different and frightens me. Not frightened, but I'd probably prefer for the Golden Age characters to just keep looking like the Golden Age characters. We don't really need to update them that much. So, nice piece of artwork. Transfers to the trading card. So we got that on there. It looks good. I've oftentimes talked in the past about how previously it seemed like Mcfarlane was mostly putting pictures of the action figures on the trading card. And I'm like, I've already got the action figure. I don't need any more pictures of it. I would rather they put some artwork on there. And then lo and behold, they started putting artwork on there. Now, again, I'm not saying Mcfarlane is watching my videos and listening to me specifically, but what I am saying is that I must not have been alone in this sentiment and in this sediment, buried in the rock with everybody else. But yeah, it's nice to have the artwork on the trading cards. I like that. I will also point out that Jay Garrick just has bare hands on the artwork, not like the little Supergirl gloves like I was talking about. But we'll get back to that in a second. So it says, The Flash, Jay Garrick, the Flash Age, real name Jay Garrick. You don't say. After a strange and bizarre laboratory accident, Jay Garrick awoke to discover he had gained amazing abilities. He can move at superhuman speeds, far beyond those of any normal man or woman, donning a costume and stylized metal helmet based on the one worn by the Roman god Mercury. It was based on the one worn by the Greek god Hermes. He wore it first. Fucking freaking ripoff. You made me drop an F-bomb. I think it's enough into the video. I'm not going to get trouble for that. This is not a show for kids. All right. So Jay used his powers to fight crime and protect the citizens of Keystone City. He became the fastest man alive, the hero of Earth 2, the Flash. So I'm confused as to what the continuity is at DC Comics nowadays because I don't really read a lot of comics. I'm thinking about getting back into it because it seems like they're actually doing some cool stuff, and I think I might like to see some of it. But is Earth 2 back? Because I thought the Justice Society just existed on the same Earth as the standard superheroes like they did in the post-crisis era. But his helmet seems to be a little warped at the brim, if you can see that. So I'm hoping I can hit that with a hairdryer and straighten it out. Got a nice bold lightning bolt on his chest. These are some pretty bright colors, and they're pretty flat for Mcfarlane colors. I'm used to seeing like a darker sort of look on these characters, and maybe like some dry brushing here and there. But there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of that on Jay. And frankly, I think that that is appropriate, and I salute them for that, because to me, the Golden Age characters, like I say, they should probably just be a little more sort of like clean in their look. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have that kind of like the modern comics have, where we have all these like computer coloring and gradations and all this kind of stuff. They had simple four color printing, and that's what the characters look like. So he looks like, in that regard, he definitely looks like he could have come out of a 1940s comic book. Now, obviously, the sculpt is a little more realistic and detailed than a lot of Golden Age artwork is. Uh, his face looks a little bit like, oddly enough, it looks a little bit like Chris Evans, who played a different Golden Age superhero in Captain America. But I think it looks a little bit like Chris Evans, so that's kind of funny. Uh, the helmet's really good. The wings are a little crooked on mine, but I think that's to be expected, considering how like this is fairly flexible and delicate plastic. So I'm not really like, I mean, it's. I mean the plastic itself isn't delicate, but since you can see like it's on a fairly thin little wing there, you can see how that would get kind of warped. Same with the brim on the helmet. That kind of thing happens. I'm not too worried about that. I'm pretty sure I can straighten it out with a hair dryer, and if not, it still looks pretty good. So, in some versions of the story, Jay actually used a World War I kind of helmet. And if you go back and look at those do have that sort of look, like the Hermes helmets have. So yeah, he just wanted to painted it silver and put some wings on it. It looks like he's blonde. See there, and usually Jay Garrick is depicted either with dark hair, or oftentimes in the modern comics he has like a graying hair. So I would expect like it to be gray along the bottom of the helmet, but it looks like he's actually blonde. And Barry Allen was actually the Flash that was blonde. Jay had dark hair, so that's a little continuity snafu. Like, I don't know, maybe, like I said, I don't read a whole lot of the modern comics. Maybe Jay has blonde hair now, but if he does in the comics, I think the comics made a mistake and they shouldn't have done that. So I'm still going to be critical. So he does have the alternate hands, both of which have those fingerless gloves. So if you want him to have some bare hands, I'm pretty sure you can probably find like some alternate hands off of some other Mcfarlane figure that'll fit, like maybe Superman or something like that. So that's not that big a deal if you don't like that. His belt is a solid yellow belt, and I believe this is also another change they made when they reintroduced the character in the post-Rebirth era. But I remember his belt as being black with like a little silver buckle with like a small lightning bolt insignia on it. I want to say again how I like this lightning bolt insignia and how they did it on this figure. It's nice and thick and powerful looking, and it actually is embossed into the figure. It's not just like they had a blank chest and they just kind of tampographed it on there. No, it's actually sculpted to be on there. So that's very nice. I do think that the blue they used, and looking at it on camera, it looks actually like a pretty good blue for Jay. It almost looks like that sort of Superman blue, like I'm talking about. Like, I got this the Mego Batman figure here handy, and you can see the gloves and the boots on this guy. That's about what I figure is the shade of blue that Jay's pants should be. But it looks fine on the camera. But in person, it looks a little more sort of powder blue. Like if McFarlane made a Lone Ranger figure and they used this shade of blue for the Lone Ranger's outfit, I would be like, that's perfect. That's exactly the shade of blue I want of the Lone Ranger. honestly, looking him over, his boots kind of have that sort of cowboy boot sort of look to him, only with the wings instead of the spurs. And maybe if I could get an extra one of these guys, I might make it a little larger. That might be kind of cool. So let's go ahead and look at the articulation here. He's got a ball jointed head, typical, good range of motion. It looks like he can look down all the way that far, look up about that far, which is not like a whole heck of a lot to look up, but it's I think enough. It'd be nicer if he had more, but he doesn't fly, so it's not like with Superman where I would want him to look like straight ahead. So the arms rotate all the way around, move up about that far. You got the butterfly joint, so that helps to fill in the gap a little bit there. You got the biceps that swivel all the way around. You got the double jointed elbows. That is a fantastic range of motion. Look at that. Got his arm to curl all the way up like that. Got the cool Mcfarlane ball joints that I like. They can be kind of delicate, so be careful with them. You don't want to break it, and especially like I always say, if it's sticking, don't force it. Always hit it with a hair dryer, put it in the freezer, dip it in some boiling water, whatever you got to do to free it up so that you don't break it. Don't ever force it. He's got that great Mcfarlane torso. Jacob Horn has weighed in and says the elbows have been killing it. They have indeed, especially on this one. I'm pretty impressed with like I said, that's some good range of motion here. I happen to have the Riddler next to me, so from when I did a review on him, and even he has some. I didn't even think to check on the Riddler. Like Riddler isn't really a guy that I think like of that much articulation because he's a guy in a suit. I probably should though because he can do that kind of crazy Jim Carrey stuff. But we've got the older Three Jokers Batman here, and you can see like that's a good range of motion there. But it's still like it's not like the Flash where I was able to get the upper arm and the lower arm to be practically parallel to each other. That's like insane. Oh, his hand popped off, but that's okay because it's supposed to pop off. It didn't break. So since I got it off, let's go ahead and put one of these open hands on there. And I like these on the runners. I feel like that's a good hand for the runners. When I made my Zip Guy Flash action figure, which was Barry Allen, I gave him one of those hands for that exact reason. So let's see if we can get him into a good running pose. I'm pretty sure we can because he was in a running pose in the box, but I want to see if I can get him into a good running pose. So there we go. Good range of motion on those knees too. You definitely want to have that with like a character that runs. Look at that. If I could get any better of a running pose out of him, you'd expect him to have a bouquet of flowers and be bringing it to your girlfriend. Yes, we all know who looks like the FTD florist guy. So let's play around with these lightning bolts since I've got them out. I want to try to see if I can have some fun with those. And these are good if you want to have your figures on display and have them, some extra comic book kind of coolness. So that fit on there pretty well. Some of these are various sizes, and I gotta imagine that some of them are intended to go different places. So I liked on the Wally West figure how there was the one that like stuck on the bottom of his boot, and then you could stick that to the figure stand if you wanted to. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, you can just stick these wherever. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of them, yeah, thank you. Uh, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these like are made to be able to put it in multiple places. So you don't necessarily, I don't think they're bespoke to go on certain body parts, although obviously his other hand came off. So be forewarned with this figure that his hands do come off fairly easily if you're playing around with it. I don't think they come off like necessarily too easily. Like when I was trying to move them around, they weren't falling off. But if I bump into it accidentally, then it starts to kind of. Is it gonna fit on there? Yeah, but it's kind of pointing up a little bit too much. I think. I'm gonna put the other flat hand on there since might as well. might as well. So, but you can experiment with those and see what kind of cool positions you can come up with. I kind of don't want to put one on this leg because I got it bent forward so much, and I'll just be like poking him in the butt. But yeah, so that gives you a good idea as to that. And of course, since I've neglected to mention it before, he does indeed come with the standard Mcfarlane action figure stand, which, as I say, every action figure should come with an action figure stand. It should just be like just standard at this point. Standard? That was bad. But yeah, maybe his joints might be cool enough that you could stand him on your shelf in a nice running pose, or you might want to find a more sort of neutral position for him to be in. Sometimes I kind of like to have his head turned the other way with these speedsters, as if like they notice something as they're running by. I think that looks cool. So this is a really nice figure of a classic DC Comics superhero that I think if you are a collector of DC figures, you're going to want to have this guy in your collection. He's an important character. So, maybe you might be preferring one of the more modern versions of the Flash. Like, you might be more of a fan of Barry Allen. You might be more of a fan of Wally West. Wally West is my personal favorite Flash. But Jay Garrick is such an important character, and he's such a part of the history. And he was the guy who started it all. He was the original Flash. He's definitely worth having in the collection. Hopefully, this figure will do well enough, and we'll see more Justice Society members, because I do love the Justice Society. I'd love to see Mcfarlane tackle Wildcat or Green Lantern or even Golden Age Sandman. I think would look really cool in like a Mcfarlane kind of style. Dr. Midnight would be another one. I think you might have sold me on this figure. Great review. Oh, well, good. I hope you enjoy it, Jacob. I got mine on Amazon, so you might still be able to find him on there. If not, hopefully he'll be hitting stores soon. And I don't think he's an exclusive or anything like that. So, but I ordered mine off Amazon. So, and they actually sent him to me this time, as opposed to like some of the stuff I've been waiting on that keeps getting pushed back and canceled. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to get my Catwoman at this point. But I think that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. If you would like to participate in these live streams as they happen, make sure you hit the little bell, and that'll warn you whenever I'm on, and you can come in and participate in the chat if you like to. Honestly, like I say, the main reason I do these live streams is because it's convenient to me. It's more convenient than shooting a video and uploading it. I can just do the live stream; it's already up. So that's the main reason I do it this way. But I never have a problem answering questions in the chat. I always enjoy answering the questions in the chat. So if you want to participate, you're more than welcome. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, there we go.